Now let's talk a bust candidate, a player that I don't think is going to return cost their value, or rather value rather, at their current draft cost. That's ADP 91, RB 31. I'm talking Austin Ekeler. That's right. Mr. The guy who used to be Mr. Everything for fantasy football purposes. Hell, the guy was a complete cheat code in his heyday as a top tier RB1. Even last season, even he was going in the top five of most drafts. And just kind of another example of a running back falling off here. And it kind of that fall can come quickly. And that's certainly the case here with Eckler, who goes in just 1 year's time from the top five all the way down to ADP 91 overall in half point scoring formats, according to Fantasy Pros at the moment. So look, and the reason I'm out on him here is because really what we saw last season in 2023. I mean, we saw regression in some major categories for running backs. Despite being 11th in opportunity share in 2023, he was just 36th in rushing yards, 40th in fantasy points per opportunity, 31st in yards per touch, 36th in juke rate, and 46th in breakaway run rate. So just trending in the wrong direction at a tough time. And that really shouldn't come as a complete shock now, as Eckler's entering his age 29 season, and he's closing in on a 1,500 career touches on his frame. So the miles are piling up for him. There's a lot of wear and tear on that body. And he's also landing in a new home where Brian Robinson, younger running back, definitely more suited for the early downs, being the grinder in this offense, and certainly taking most likely the majority of the running back touches at the goal line. And I think Eckler's really left to sort of mix it on passing downs, which he has openly admitted that he's open to doing. And if you believe sources, he was willing to take a lesser role last season. There just wasn't an opportunity for him to scale back his workload in 2023, which is probably good for his NFL lifespan if he's going to play another couple seasons. But for fantasy purposes, we want our running backs to eat volume, and we want them to score touchdowns. Receptions are nice too. And I do still think that Eckler can get some of those, but I'm a little skeptical with Jaden Daniels joining the team as the second overall pick in the draft at quarterback. Him having a dual threat skill set where he can run and pass, I just don't really see those guys checking down to running backs a ton. Those guys who are mobile, who are able to kind of take the ball and do it themselves on that standpoint. And so it kind of leaves us in a situation where if it's unlikely that we get a TD spike out of Eckler with Robinson stealing the goal line carries, and it's not going to be a high volume touch total again for Eckler for this point, and he's not getting a ton of check down receptions, I'm just not sure where the fantasy value is going to come from Austin Eckler in 2024 or likely ever again. So his price point itself is fine. I think RB31 is not a deal breaker completely. And I think there's a realm of possibilities he could finish RB31 ish and kind of quote unquote return value in that spot. But there's just more guys with upside that I want to take in this range. I mean, his teammate Brian Robinson, I just mentioned he's probably in line for more touchdowns here. He goes a couple of spots later, RB33 overall. Even further down the list, you get rookies like Trey Benson, Blake Corum, and even a second year guy like Tajay Spears, who's kind of locked into more of a true 50-50 committee and can kind of fill in, do a lot of the same things that Tony Pollard can do in the receiving game. I like him better at cost too, especially if I can get him a round or so later. So as much as it is for Eckler, as great as it's been, it's kind of time to say thanks for the good memories, but we're moving on to another direction.